Manchester City set new target as fixture schedule finally works to their favour. Manchester City enjoyed a good run between the September and October international break, and they can look to the same again over the next month. The staccato rhythm of the early weeks of the Premier League season can be frustrating for fans and can make storylines hard to follow, with a run of games interrupted by an international break in September, October and November. What the breaks do allow, however, are a chance to analyse and maybe over-analyse how a team has started and debate what might be going right or wrong. But conclusions drawn in September can look foolish by October, and for Manchester City, that has certainly been the case this season. When they lost to Tottenham and Brighton before the first international break of the season, there was concern that this was going to be a lot like last year, and that a title challenge already felt a distant dream. That 2-week pause allowed a chance to reset, and when the action resumed, City won the Manchester derby 3-0 to start a run of 7 games that produced 5 wins and 2 draws. Now, they feel like genuine contenders once again. You could argue City have been robbed of momentum with this latest stoppage of domestic action, but for a new team still learning the ropes under Pep Guardiola, it might also do them some good. There is no denying they took some giant strides forward in the last 3 weeks, bookended by wins against Manchester United and Brentford. After the introspection and worry in September, the picture is a lot more optimistic. The bite-sized schedule at this stage of the season also allows for easy targets to be set. After wins against United and Napoli and a draw at Arsenal, it became obvious that the Blues' aim was to go unbeaten during this stretch of games. With 7 more fixtures to come before the November internationals, the target should be to repeat that, especially as 4 of those games are at the Etihad. Guardiola's side will be strong favourites to beat Everton this weekend. They then have a trio of away games against Villarreal, Aston Villa and Swansea City. None should hold much fear at the moment. Then the stretch ends with 3 successive home games against Bournemouth, Borussia Dortmund and Liverpool. The contest against Arne Slot's side looks like the biggest fixture of the 7, but Liverpool have had the opposite sequence to City, where optimism has given way to scrutiny from September to October. If City can head into the November international break, having again managed to go 7 games unbeaten, and perhaps inflicting a defeat on their title rivals in the process, then the outlook will be very promising indeed. Manchester City, biggest England win this week, came 1,600 miles from Wembley. Manchester City saw John Stones play for England on Thursday night, but there were other success stories elsewhere. Goodness knows why the tens of thousands who had paid through the nose for tickets did not scream their lungs out for every minute of England's one-sided victory over Wales, but Thomas Tuchel had plenty to be happy with otherwise. The drama around him leaving star players out of his squad was quickly forgotten, as the team he did pick pummeled Wales in the opening 20 minutes. Manchester City would rather have Phil Foden have been included, and would rather Nico O'Reilly made it onto the pitch after his first call-up following the Brentford game. They will have taken satisfaction from John Stones playing and escaping without an injury, particularly after that dicey moment where he went down and looked to be in pain. City's biggest England win of the week, though, came not at Wembley but about 1,600 miles away. It was in the Zimbru Stadium in the Moldovan capital of Chisinau, where Lee Carsley's England under-21s picked up a healthy 4-0 win. Rico Lewis scored in an encouraging display for him after falling out of favour with Guardiola in the early months of the season, while young forward Divin Mubama bagged 2. Mubama has had a decent start to life on loan at Stoke, where City will be keeping an eye on him. With Chelsea winger Jamie Gittins getting the opener after his £48.5 million move from Dortmund in the summer transfer window, all 3 goalscorers, as well as the coach, have been developed in at least some of their career in City's academy. Gittins spent a few years at the club. Mubama had already made his West Ham debut when he was signed last year, but played most of his minutes for the under-20s, and Lewis is a lifer at the Etihad. Just as they like to be represented at senior level, City like to know they have some of the most promising English talent on their books. Lewis has taken the path to Pep Guardiola's first team, but even if not all can follow it, bodes well for City's recruitment and their coaching to have so many links in the England youth setup. The same can be said for the senior team. James Trafford, O'Reilly and Stones are the City contingent in the most recent squad, but Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer have also flourished for the Three Lions after moving on from the Etihad. Homegrown talent has become particularly important in the English game as a result of the spending rules brought in by the Premier League to protect teams. City have made hundreds of millions of pounds in recent years from selling academy players, as well as bringing Lewis, O'Reilly, Oscar Bob and others through into their first team. Two Manchester City teenagers might be competing for one place in Pep Guardiola's squad. Manchester City have two teenage centre-backs out on loan this season, and there could be room in the squad for one of them next season. Oumar Ba and Vitor Reis arrived at Manchester City in the same window earlier this year, and although both are now playing their football away from the Etihad, they could have an eye on making Pep Guardiola's squad for next season. The two 19-year-old centre-backs are only 3 months apart in age, and both are enjoying productive loan spells in a Big Five league this season. They are the two star names of a cohort of young defenders looking to make an impression at City. Ba joined from Real Valladolid for £5.2 million after a meteoric rise, playing just 13 games for the La Liga outfit in the first half of last season before City swooped for the Sierra Leone international. He is yet to get a chance at his parent club, spending the second half of last season on loan at Lens before moving to Nice this summer. Ba also had interest from Lyon, as well as clubs in England, which shows the potential that many clubs in Europe believe he has. He played the full game in both legs of Nice's Champions League, third qualifying round defeat to Benfica, and has done the same in their first two Europa League outings against Roma and Fenerbahce. He has also played 5 times in League One, although he has missed the last 2 domestic fixtures. Reis did get a taste of life at City after his £29.6 million move from Palmeiras. He has made 4 appearances for the club and played the full game against Wydad AC at the start of the Club World Cup in June. Given the competition at centre-back and the size of Guardiola's squad, there wasn't room to keep the young Brazilian around this season, and he was sent on loan to City Football Group club Girona. In Spain, Reis has played 7 of Girona's 8 games, missing the fixture with Athletic Club after he was sent off in a 4-0 defeat at home to Levante. Girona have had a tough start to the season, and their 2-1 win against Valencia before the international break was their first of the campaign. Back in Manchester, Guardiola's defensive options could be changing by the end of this season. Manuel Akanji is on loan at Inter Milan, but likely to complete a permanent exit next summer, while Nathan Ake is also expected to move on, either in January or at the end of the season. Ruben Dias and Josko Gvardiol are first choice at the moment, with John Stones as an excellent backup, although the England international is out of contract next summer. Abdulkadir Kusanov is also an option there, but has mostly played at right back this season. If Akanji and Ake go and Kusanov continues to deputise at right back, there will likely be space for another centre-back in the squad next season. Ba and Reis might have their eye on it. The former has the benefit of European football this season, adding to his experience, but Reis has played first-team football for City. The Blues will also have more detail on his performances for Girona as a result of the CFG links. For now, all either can do is keep their place in the team at Nice and Girona and keep on impressing, with the hope of a return to the Etihad next season. Back in the game. Why Manchester City are hosting gigs at the Etihad again? Manchester City will have gone 3 years without hosting concerts at the Etihad when The Weeknd and Take That play next summer. The last time The Weeknd played at the Etihad Stadium was the same night that Manchester City's footballing dreams came true. Pep Guardiola's side won the Champions League in Istanbul for the first time in the club's history, while the Canadian singer was thrilling his own fans in Manchester in June 2023. It feels fitting then that The Weeknd will be one of the first artists back next summer when the stadium hosts concerts for the first time in 3 years. With work on expanding the North Stand that started in 2024 set to be completed in the coming months, City want 2026 to kickstart their next chapter as one of the city's premier music venues. In the meantime, they have already played their part in creating another. Co-op Live, the UK's largest indoor arena with a capacity of 23,000, sits next door to the Etihad and City Football Group, are majority shareholders in it. As well as welcoming famous stars from Sabrina Carpenter and Billie Eilish to Bruce Springsteen and Barry Manilow in the 18 months it has been running, the arena also hosted the 2024 MTV EMAs in November and has the Brits signed up for the next 2 years. Having made such a big impact in such a short space of time, it's fair to ask if City's owners needed to host concerts at the Etihad as well. The reality is that being able to offer both venues gives them the biggest chance of making use of their space. Some bands and artists may prefer the bigger capacity of a stadium for commercial reasons, and others deliberately choreograph their tours to be in bigger venues. With City having built up a competitive advantage over noisy neighbours United and Liverpool in the ever-growing battle to make money, they are determined to keep pushing on as they move towards completing a hotel, a new fan zone on site, to make the Etihad campus an entertainment destination all year round. We're different to Spurs and Real Madrid in that we haven't got the retractable pitch, so they have more versatility to do things in the season. But from our perspective, opening up that window to be as wide as possible in the summer months as pitch technology evolves as well is something that we're really focused on. We have other football stadia very close to us of similar capacity. All of them have their ambitions, but we do still have a competitive advantage in terms of the artist views and experiences of the stadium and the space around it, and the connectivity and proximity to the city of Manchester. That gives us a bit more of an edge